Now I've made some notes here on the board. Obviously I'm going to give you a better graphic. This is for my benefit. It's my cheat sheet. So when we're talking the OODA loop, OODA stands for Observe, Orient, Decide, and Act. OODA, O-O-D-A. So when we're thinking of a decision-making process, we're thinking OODA, okay? It is an ongoing process that will continue all the time. And if you can stay ahead of this, meaning you're always doing it, always acting on it, it will make you more situationally aware at most times, and it will keep you ahead of the curve when it comes to the actual thing occurring that you think may or may not occur, if that makes sense. So observation is number one. You're basically looking around you and collecting the inputs, all right? Oh, there's a gunman here at 2 o'clock, and he's just entered the restaurant, and he's holding a gun. That's my observation, right? Orient, I'm gonna process the input. What am I gonna do about this? Am I gonna duck under the table? Am I gonna grab everybody and run? Am I gonna stand up and draw and go after him? I'm gonna decide on which of these inputs I wanna develop a plan around. So that's my decision-making action. I'm gonna choose a course or develop that plan. And then I'm gonna act on the plan. So whatever that case may be. We're gonna run, we're gonna hide, we're gonna fight. It's gonna be one of those, right? So that's kind of the OODA loop. And that's gonna change and be a progressive thing. It's gonna be ongoing at all times. So again, if the gunman comes in and I see him holding a gun up in the air, I decide that I'm going to tell the family to get under the table. Bam, we get under the table because I'm already acting on the plan. I've just said, that's our plan, get under the table, go. We're under the table. He comes in and he just sticks up the cash register, says, give me all the money, blah, blah, blah. Well, next OODA begins. I'm collecting more input. He's at the cash register. What am I going to do next? Can I do it? Let's do it. So that's how the OODA loop is going to continually play out at every single stage and level of the event. So it seems like a lot, but we are just putting into verbiage things that we do already. So I don't expect everybody to walk around, OODA loop, OODA loop. That's just not smart. And there are people that kind of will, but you just want to be aware that this is the process that we're using to identify the information and how we work through processing that information. And if you just stick to these simplistic 4 levels, it will enable you to process that information much faster. If you refer back to our wilderness survival, we have STOP, sit, think, observe, and plan. This is very similar to an actionable or a dangerous situation. We're going to observe, orient, decide, and act. This is the STOP of urban survival world, or military or tactical, etc. So it's a more dangerous, tactical type situation. So this is what we're going to be employing. So that's all we're doing, is we're applying verbiage to the decision-making process. Now, once we understand the decision-making process, we should be aware of color codes that apply to the situations we find ourselves in. Now, the Situational Awareness Color Code was developed by Colonel Jeff Cooper, and it really adds nicely to the OODA Loop teaching methodology, all right? So we're going to start out at white. White is a relaxed state. When you're relaxed, you're basically shut off. It's like you're at home on the couch vegging out. You're at condition white, all right? You're just bleh. You're oblivious, you're totally relaxed, all right? You're at home on the couch. At yellow is where you should be out in public. You're aware. You're situationally aware of things coming and going, and you're looking for those things, all right? At orange, you are at a heightened state of awareness. A potential threat has been identified, and you're beginning to run through the OODA loop at this stage. So that's like level 3, right? Orange is what we call it. So heightened state of awareness, you see a big dude coming that looks like he means business as you're going into Walmart with your family. He just looks shady. So, potential threat. I'm gonna snap my fingers, and when I do that, I've trained my whole family. When we're walking places, if I want them off to one side of me, I'll just snap my fingers or wave my hand. I'll just do that. Wave my hand or something like that, and they just naturally gravitate toward that side. That's because I plan on beating the guy up and taking him away from them. So I'm gonna do something to get them away. So they know that, I know that. I've trained them to know that. I'm already going through that at this stage. When I see that type of person or situation, I'm running through the OODA loop already. So I'm preparing, get over here. I'm already cycling through that quickly. Condition reds, there's an actual threat. You're in the middle of it, so to speak, or you're beginning to act on it. There's another level to this called condition black, which is like you're in the fight. But this one is you're acting on the actual threat at this point. And this is the ones we want to focus on. We want to keep it at 4 and keep it simple. White, we're at home on the couch, we're totally relaxed. Yellow, we're out in public, we're aware of what's going on. Orange, we've identified a threat, we're beginning our OODA loop. And red, we are now actively doing something, all right? So these color codes, as they relate to situational awareness, really lend themselves well into the OODA loop cycle, because again, it's not until orange, that heightened state of awareness, that we even began really the OODA loop. And then here, we're already at the end of the OODA loop. So between orange and red, the OODA loop's finished. It can go that quick, all right? So the more we train our mind to look for resources, threats, exits, cover, concealment, all of these types of things, between here, the more situationally aware we are becoming. So think of this if you have small kids. If you're one of those people that let your kids run wild around you, shame on you. Train your child in the way they should go, and when they're older, they won't depart from it. You get control of them now and get them in line. You have to. This is what you're supposed to do. And as it relates to this type of training specifically, it will give you the tactical advantage in many situations. As I said, from the time my kids were young, I trained them. When we're walking, they can't walk behind me. They have to walk right in my periphery. Even to this day, you'll see them, they fall behind, they'll jog up and just stay right in my periphery, because we have to know where one another are. We're all trained. Right? All my kids are trained. I've trained them. So they have to be able to act quickly in accordance with what I'm saying or what they're perceiving as well, because we're all doing the same thing. You're not going to get to that level unless you start when they're young. So when you make a hand motion or you do something like that, they know instinctively, bam, we have to get over here. We can't be acting a fool running around and just doing what kids, we're told, what kids do. Because it's not. It's home raising, guys. We all know this. So anyway, awareness is actually a biblical concept. Awareness is a biblical concept. In Ezekiel 40 verse 4 it says, "Son of man, see with your eyes and hear with your ears and give attention to all that I'm going to show you, for you have been brought here in order to show it to you. Declare to the house of Israel all that you see." This is the watchman on the wall type verse, and this applies to being situationally aware. We are here doing this training because it is appointed unto you to see it. So with that in mind, you have an obligation to train your family in how to see this as well, so that you can declare it to others that need this type of training and insight on how to process this information to avoid threats and to keep themselves safe, especially in the times in which we're now living.